Hi everyone, welcome to the March 2025 net worth video. Before we get into the numbers, just to give you some background information about me, my name is Mona. I am 41 years old. I am single. I live in New York City, which is a expensive area of live in. And I also have one child who is special needs. And I am on a journey to obtain financial independence and retire early or FIRE. I am definitely interested in the early retirement part of FIRE because I have no interest in working into late 40s and 50s if I can financially afford to free up my time so I can just spend it with my daughter, other family, just relaxing and pursuing my personal hobbies. All right, so let's get into the numbers. So my net worth for March 2025 is $806,316.74. Now, on first look, I should be really excited about this, right? Because I've now broken into the 800,000s range, which is amazing. But probably like everyone else, I've lost a ton of money in the month of March, and this net worth should have been substantially higher than what it is. But in the spirit of gratitude, yes, it does feel really good to be in the 800,000. That means I am less than $200,000 from being a net worth millionaire. So pending how the stock markets perform this year, right? If I will actually stay in the 800s, but it does feel really good in this moment. But let's get into the numbers and talk about the disaster of an investing month March was. Okay, so starting with my assets, my Bank of America checking account, the balance was $4,992.92. That's a decrease of $743.03 from the prior month. This checking account is essentially a flush account. I just use it to cover all of my monthly expenses. So the balance is typically around $5,000 at the end of the month or beginning of the next month, depending on how you want to look at it. So it's okay if it fluctuates here and there a couple $100, but this is the account I use to, again, pay for all of my living expenses for myself and my daughter. All right, moving over to the Ally Bank savings account. Balance on that is $12,059.38. That's an increase of $10,138.81. So for the Ally account, I definitely bumped up my emergency fund within this, because for Ally, you can create different savings buckets. And my emergency fund originally, I think it was about $1,800 or $1,900, but just with how the stock market has just performed horrible for this month or the month of March, and then also to just some instability with my job, it was a reminder for me just the importance of that emergency fund and making sure that I'm building up a cash reserve. I don't like to have a lot of cash or just in savings account because I want it to work for me, but definitely it's important for me to have a robust emergency fund. So I was able to put quite a chunk in for the month of March. One of the main reasons for that is because I did get paid out my annual bonus in March. So I had some extra cash to save and invest. And out of the $10,138 I put in, approximately $9,048 went to my emergency fund bucket. So as of March 31st, I have $10,300 in my emergency fund. All right, so moving on to the 401k plan. Balance on that is $297,925.59. That's an increase of $629.72. I think this is probably going to be the biggest joke in terms of all the accounts and the performance, because in the month of March, I put in, and no lie, $17,000 $875 into my 401k, but the balance only went up $629. That's how much money I've lost in the stock market, just completely out of my hand and nothing I can do. So with that additional $17,875 I added in the month of March to the 401k, I was able to fully max out the 401k for the entire year in the total amount of $23,500. So I'm not able to put any more money into the 401k going forward. So hopefully the stock market does something good so this balance can increase, because technically this balance should have been at a minimum like $315,000. But as you see here, I'm not even at $300,000. And my 401k is 100% invested in the S&P 500. All right, let's move over to my M1 Finance brokerage account. Balance on that is $230,157.95. That is an increase of $10,131.72 from the prior month. But before you get excited and start thinking, oh, you gained a lot on your investment in your M1 finance account. No, that is wrong, because for the month of March in the M1, I put in $20,900. So a huge loss here in terms of how much the portfolio balance went up. And again, just as a reminder, month of March, I was a bit more flush with cash because of that yearly bonus that got paid out. So, yep, over $20,000 I put in, but only up a little over 10,000. All right, let's move on to the Robinhood brokerage account. Balance on that is $1,301.92. That's a decrease of $168.28 from the prior month. This brokerage account just keeps going down in balance. It's invested in individual stocks and crypto. So yes, those are extremely volatile, but it was my fun account, so I'm not really paying attention to it. I just have it here because it's my money, whether the balance goes up or down. So definitely want to include the account in my net worth, but I don't plan to put any extra money into this brokerage account for the remainder of the year, but I'll keep it on here and just watch how it performs. Oh, and let's backtrack in a bit to the M1 finance account. Just want to be transparent. About 60% of this portfolio is invested in the S&P 500. 30% is, apologies, so about 65% is in the S&P 500. 35% is in SCHD, which is a dividend ETF, and then the remaining balance of 1% or 1.5% approximately is in QQQM. Okay, then moving on to the Roth IRA, balance on that is $46,082.39. That is an increase of $4,694.41 from the prior month. So the Roth IRA, I was able to max it out in March because of the bonus. So I deposited $7,000, but as you see here, my balance did not go up at a minimum $7,000. So lost several thousands of dollars from the 401k as I did all of the other accounts. And my Roth IRA, it is 100, no, actually it's not 100% invested in S&P. It's about probably 60% S&P, maybe 20% SCHD, and the other 20% is VTI. But my goal with the Roth IRA for future years that I am able to max it out, I'm just putting 100% of the money in the S&P 500. And then moving over to my health savings account, or the HSA, balance on that was $31,933.47. That's a decrease of $1,295.98. I do make payroll contributions to the HSA through my employer every paycheck. So in the month of March, I deposited $587.50 into the account, but as you see here, I was down over $1,200. All right, and then moving over to the ABLE account. ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience, and it's an investment / checking account for people with disabilities. My daughter, as I mentioned, is special needs. She is 6 years old, so this is the account that I have for her. It's 100% invested, so none of it is in cash. So the balance on her account is $44,672.73, and that's an increase of $559.87 from the prior month. Now, the ABLE account, I did put in $2,050 in it for March, so it's down significantly as well. And then my last asset is my home. This is the purchase price at $435,000. I'm keeping it flat for the entire year of 2025, so there's a difference of $0. So my total assets for the month of March is $1,104,126.35. So $1.1 million in assets, which is absolutely amazing. And then moving over to my liabilities. So I only have one liability. It's my mortgage. The balance on that is $297,809.61. So that is a decrease of $2,987.47 from the prior month. I did put in $2,125 in extra mortgage payments in March just because the stock market was just not doing well. And I just wanted to put my money somewhere where I would see an actual direct positive result, which is paying down my mortgage. So again, I did put extra money towards the mortgage, but the plan is not to aggressively pay down the mortgage for the remainder of the year. The plan is to aggressively invest, but stock market was rough for March. All right, and then if you take my total assets minus my total liabilities, that is where you get the $806,316.74 as my net worth, and that is an increase of $26,934.71 from the prior month. All right, so that is all of the update for the March 2025 net worth, and I will catch